afternoon. Yeah, I think it's afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon, boys and girls. And first of all, thank you very much that you invited me. And if you want to listen to a story, which is an unbelievable story, I will try to do my best to tell you, and maybe you will believe some, and maybe if you don't, no big deal. But anyway, by coincidence, I'm a person because the day when I was born, and where I was born, I went through the Second World War from practically day one to the end until I came here to the United States, August 13, 1946. So I will try to be as short as possible that you should understand what my experiences were. In order to listen, it's really, it has no meaning what happened to me or what happened to the other people who suffered during the Second World War, because I am one who luckily survived. But the Second World War, 70 million people were killed. Now, can you imagine what it means to kill 70 million people? And that these people, the 70 million people got killed, is all due to a man who was a dictator. He was the most vicious person you could imagine, because he felt that he has the power to rule the world, yes, to rule the world, and he has the right to kill anybody who stands in his way. And this person was Hitler, yes, Hitler. I don't know how much you learned about him or how much you know about him, but Hitler was basically a house painter, yes, and Hitler was very bright. And not only was he very bright, but he wanted to induce people that he is a god, yes? And that's why first the German people said, Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler means holy Hitler. Holy Hitler, and he tried to induce his people that he has the right to kill anybody who disagrees with him. And while I will go and tell you certain things, it will be unbelievable that something like that can happen. So don't hesitate to stop me or ask me. If you don't understand something, if I don't make clear to you, then just stop. And the question is, what good does it do to tell the story? Okay? And the people who are dead, they are dead. But it is important that you should know, not because of the people who are dead, how you can protect yourself, that what happened to these 70 million people shouldn't happen to you. Because unfortunately, history keeps repeating itself, and you have human beings who are more vicious than any animal, any wild animal in the world. Human beings can be more vicious than the wild animals in the wilderness. And you have to make sure that you know the history for your benefit, not for my benefit, or for the ones who got killed. The ones who are not killed, are buried. But you have a responsibility to try to protect yourself and to protect people around you. So this is why. And unfortunately, history keeps repeating itself. Because now we hear what goes on in the Ukraine, yes, and what Putin, who is using the same techniques what Hitler used during the Second World War, what he is doing in Russia. And in my opinion, unless the world will stop Putin, he will do the same thing what Hitler did. Not with Jews, because there are enough Jews to kill anymore, but we do to do with the Ukrainians or do the people who do not agree. So this is why I am here, and I will try in a short time to try to explain you how important it is to learn history, and not only to learn history, but to prepare yourself physically and mentally to be strong and be able to stand up to the, may I use the nasty word, the bastards who try to take advantage. So, any of you want to ask me any question? You can ask me anything. If I don't know to answer, I will tell you. But I'm sure that you learned something, and just go ahead, stop me and ask me anything you would like.
Was there people that died like right in front of you?
I'm sorry again.
Was there like people that died like right in front of you? You saw it and stuff. Or was it just?
You know, I'm 91 years old, so you have to speak up a little bit.
Well, did you have people die right in front of you? What were some of
Yes,
the
thousands.
atrocities you saw?
Thousands. So, you know, you see, here again, when you say thousands, you know, I don't want to be nasty, but when I saw, and I had to step over bodies, and where people were in Budapest by the thousands, in the streets, bleeding, and nobody was there, and there was nobody who could help them, and all that thing. And you see, Budapest is an old town, and there are little gardens, not big gardens, but little gardens. And the Russians, when they were fighting from house to house, and people got killed, they buried them right in those gardens, And I don't want to use that, but there was a very nasty saying how they buried their own soldiers, and how the Russian soldiers were killed, and they got killed, and they were dropped in the grave and covered them and went further. So this is what can happen, and this is what happened, and it's very hard to talk about it because unless you saw it, unless you lived it, yes, you can't believe that human beings can be that cruel to each other. You see, we were hiding, a few of us. Budapest is an old city, a part of the city. And basically the buildings are 3-story buildings, and they are built very solid with mostly stone. And it so happened that when we were hiding, myself and 3 other guys with me, was on a street which had like a little V, like a little V. And on one side was the German barricade, the German barricade. On the other side was the Russian barricade. And Budapest, the old city, has cobblestones, square cobblestone in the street. So to make the barricade, they picked up these stones, you know, these stones, and made a barricade, and they were shooting at each other. And it so happened that because of this leak, which was in our apartment, the bullets came through from one side and the bullets came from the other side. So we, in order to protect ourselves, all we could do is sit on the toilet, you know, because the bathroom was in the back and the bullets were flying to the doors. And we were sitting in the bathroom because that was the only place that the bullets didn't touch us. And to tell you, the German army, until they had backing, you know, they looked like nobody can defeat them. But when the Russians came in and they went from house to house, you know, from house to house, it was a different army, yes, because they didn't have the uniforms what the Germans had. They didn't have the feed the Germans had, but the minute they went from house to house and were killing the Germans, and they didn't make bones about it, you know. Wherever they saw one, they just killed, you know. And to tell you, the German or the Russian army was a very primitive army, you know. Their uniform was not fancy, it was a very simple uniform, you know, a very simple uniform, and their tanks weren't simple either. But when they occupied part of the city, they opened the city to them. They would come in and take whatever they could, and they got drunk and all that thing, and they played the piano or whatever. But then when they had to go forward, you know, a lieutenant or somebody came and took a pistol and gave a sign, you know, 3 shots. And the minute he gave it 3 shots, you know, they weren't fed anymore, they weren't drunk anymore, they jumped in the tanks and were shooting and going. So I asked them, I said, how do you do that? He said, it's very simple, because our officers, our lieutenants, if a soldier doesn't pick up his position and doesn't go, when he gives the signal, the officer will shoot him. So they went like wild Indians, you know, wild Indians. And if they died, they made a grave, and the joke was that they put him in the grave, the hell with him, you know. And this is basically how it was. And you know, when you go out on the street and stepping over the dead bodies, you can't imagine what that does. What that does. So this is what war is. Yes. This is what war is. So we have to do everything possible that we should not experience something very similar. Now, to come to myself, so basically, here again, I said this to the other group and I will repeat this to you. You know, sometimes you are lucky and sometimes you aren't. You can be the smartest person in the world. If you are not lucky, you will suffer one way or another, and if you die, you die. And I was lucky. I was very, very lucky, because when the bombs, when this camp, this work camp, when I was, and explaining, we had to, our work camp was on the side of the Danube River. The Danube River is one of the major rivers. And in the middle of the Danube River is an island. The island is called Chepa. This Chepa was an island where it was